All right, ladies, gentlemen, and kitties. Today, thanks to Henderson Harley-Davidson in Henderson, Nevada, Harley-Davidson of North America, today I'll be riding the 2018 Sport Glide. I think this is one of the smallest Sport Glides based on the Road Glide series I've ridden so far. It has that meaty feel still, but it's a smaller bike overall compared to the Street Glide, the Ultra, and the other Glide series. I don't think this one has a tachometer, but it has a cruise control though. So there's a menu selector button, so you can change your display, and you can have a fully digital numerical tachometer, but that's too distracting. So I'll just put just the time instead. Since it's a Harley-Davidson, it's hard to put it to neutral. Right now, as we wait at the moment, ergonomics check. I'm 6'3", 200 to 220 pounds, 32-inch inseam. So far, typical cruiser, full flat foot. Okay, here we go. Alright. Clutch engagement on this bike, it bites in the middle, midway before you fully release it. So that's good. The side mirrors almost hits my hand already, right here, look at that. I don't know if you can see it properly, but there you go. So the 2018 Sport Glide, this one has the 107 cubic inch Milwaukee 8 engine. Same goes with the Ultra Limited. In the Street Glide, it has the same instrumentations. Wow, this thing feels way lighter. I'm liking this now. In fact, I like this better than the Iron 883 and the couple of lightweight Harleys that I've ridden so far. The rear brakes has a little bit of a play, but it's still tactile and feel direct. The front brakes, it's very direct. Not enough play, which is good. So if you feel at home with a Japanese bike, you feel at home with this one. This bike doesn't have the same vibrations as what I experienced from the Street Glide and the Ultra Limited. So typical Harley, turn signals on each side of the bars. It has the keyless go system, so you can put your key fob on your pocket and there you go, right away. Out of all the Glide series of Harley-Davidson, this feels the lightest. I feel like I'm riding a naked bike right now. But of course, it has that clunkiness of a big Harley-Davidson American motorcycle. I'm liking this so far. It doesn't ride as tedious as the bigger Harleys, including the Fat Bob too. This one feels just right. Still can't go to neutral. And unlike the Street Rod, I don't feel cramped in here. It feels just a right amount of room for my tall stature, and it sounds nice. It has the right amount of noise. It may not be as loud as the Street Glide, but this Sport Glide really does its job. Personal opinion wise though, I'm not feeling the plethora of chrome in this bike. It has too much chrome for my taste though. It may hamper my visibility while riding this bike midday, where the sun is completely on top of you, and those reflective bits will hit my eyes like nothing. Now we're gonna enter the freeway and we're gonna rev this little sucker. Oh, not little, this is not a small bike. This big bike, big American bike. Look at that lean, very nice. Surely likes to rev. Very nice bike. It also has a self-canceling turn signals, which is very handy these days. Okay, I feel like I'm riding an MT-09 right now. I'm being flopped around by the wind right now. I have no wind protection. This little thing is useless. But if it's 100-degree weather, this will be very beneficial for you to ride with. One thing I like about this, I got hit by a gust of wind. That's what I said. Unlike the other Glide series that I've ridden so far, this one has a gear shift indicator. I think it has the same gauge cluster as the Fat Bob. Yeah, very clear, very concise, very modern. I'm liking this Sport Glide right now. It has a torque, although you won't, at this speed you won't hear that much engine noise. Yeah, that tiny windscreen doesn't work. The gear selector is very tactile, very easy to modulate, and very easy to switch. It's also easy to rev match this bike. Right now I'm using earbuds, so I don't completely hear the full glory of this bike, but on these highway speeds it's a must to have earbuds so you won't get deaf or something. Hey, that engine. It really shows you the awesomeness of an American motorcycle. So far, overall dynamics, this Harley ranks very high right now in comparison with the big ones like the Fat Boy and the V-Rod. I may not have a video of the V-Rod, but that bike was amazing. I don't know why Harley-Davidson phased it out, but that bike is awesome. It's also easy to rev match. The throttle mapping is on a jumpy side. It's a little bit twitchy. Lean angle is pretty good. Can I go to neutral? Yes! Yes, I went to neutral! Yes! Oh, I'm so happy. It looks small, but it isn't. You can still feel the heft of this bike. But unlike all the Harleys I've ridden so far, including the Fat Boy and the V-Rod and the Fat Bob, or even the Street Rod, I think this bike is basically made for me. I like this bike. Oh my gosh, this bike is fighting against the Fat Boy and the Sport Glide. This bike is amazing. I like it. I really like it already. It feels more significant to ride compared to the Victory Octane 2. The Octane feels smaller than this, although. Yep. This bike feels meatier compared to the Octane in the Scout series. But it's not as ostentatious as the Fat Boy, Fat Bob, the Sport Glide. Oh no, not the Sport Glide. Street Glide, not Sport Glide. I'm riding the Sport Glide. One thing funny about this bike, when I saw before I chose this bike to ride, was it wasn't on the roadster for demo day. This bike wasn't on the roster, and somehow this bike squeezes it in. So that's why I said I saw this bike for the first time. I saw its LED headlights in the side bags. You'll see it later on in the video. It feels unique. It looks unique. It looks modern. It doesn't feel old school too much. So it's so easy to ride. Commuting wise, I'd commute this bike. Although it's on a heavier side though. It's not like a typical naked bike or even the Indian Scout 60 or the Victory Octane. This feels a little bit more bare knuckle, but I like it simply because it's not a typical Harley where it will flop you around. You're like, haha, you're a puny little human being. You can't handle me. I'm big, I'm heavy, I'm all metal. This one compromises with you, which is a good thing. A beginner guy like me, Can easily live with this bike. The seats are supportive, it doesn't sink you in, unlike some big cruisers from Indian or even Harley-Davidson too. And the engine sounds nice, stock. Look at this. It sounds just right. It's not annoying. You can appreciate the bike itself for the better. It's not annoying. It might have some minor vibes on the handlebars and some on your leg, but it doesn't jar you. It's not like the 2014 Fat Boy that I rode, that it jiggles your cellulite and your fat content. Wow, this bike is fun. What a way to end the day. So easy to rev match. Wow. The last Harley that I've had this much fun was the Fat Boy, the 2018 Fat Boy. I had so much fun in that bike. If you saw that video, I'll link it up somewhere here. It's a bike that your inner childhood will be unleashed. Ah man, it can't go to neutral. Let me see how lean this bike really is. Yep, I scraped my boot. It can lean really nice, but it's still heavy. Still very cumbersome to lean on. It's not like the XDR. The XDR is basically a sport bike with a cruiser's riding position. There you go. So as you slow down, you gotta put it to neutral. And you can't put it to neutral. See. The exhaust on this bike is pretty simple looking. It's only one side, but it's loud enough. Yeah, everything in this bike is everything is right in this bike for me. See, I'm having fun with this bike. It's not like the other bikes that I've ridden before besides the Fat Boy. I'm having fun in this bike. It's so playful. It's so nice. It's a pleasurable bike to ride. Okay, I think this bike is somewhat better now than the Fat Boy because I've never ridden a cruiser that is as fun as this. Yeah, man, I'm just impressed. I never had so much fun in a Harley-Davidson before till now. Yeah, it's not annoying. It's pleasurable to ride. I think this bike beats the Octane already for me. Does it beat the Fat Boy? Basically pretty close now because this bike is much more nimble. The Fat Boy is a behemoth compared to this. The riding position, it's not as aggressive as the Scout Bobber that I rode one time, and it doesn't feel as cramped as the Street Rod that I also ride before. This one is just right. I like this better than the 883. I wonder if I rent this bike, how does it go? I hope Eagle Rider has this bike so I can rent one. Nah, this is too small to go cross country. I never felt cramped. It doesn't feel out of place. Sometimes in a Fat Bob, the pegs feels too small, especially with the boot that I'm using right now. Everything is meaty, but at the same time, it's still compact enough. See, I can push it like no problem, like a typical naked bike. And this guy's just cruising along like crazy. It's so joyful to play this bike around. Not many bikes can do that to you. Well, for me at least. I think this bike is better now than the Fat Boy because I never had so much fun in a cruiser like this before. Usually cruisers, I tend to lug. I tend to drag myself out of it. It feels tedious to ride, but this one is fun. This bike is fun for me. And it's not jarring. It's not a typical Harley-Davidson. It jiggles all your fat on you. It's a bike that gives you so much sense of joy riding. It's so relaxing. I might have to add the gummy grips on this bike because right now the vibrations is getting to my hands now. So I gotta remind myself not to hold the handlebars too tightly, or else it will be numb later. I hope we do a sweeper in this one. Ah! Boo! Boo! Damn it, I hate Las Vegas lights. I hate the stop traffic lights here in Vegas. The seats are comfortable, a little firm, but good for everyday riding, but not for long distance. See, I can just lay down here. And another thing to point out, this bike has cruise control. Right there. See right there? Cruise control. Very nice. You can put some saddlebags on the side. It doesn't sound obnoxious as other Harleys that you can ride with. I like it. I like it so far. Sounds really nice when with the visors up. So easy to ride. I'm liking it. Yummy bike. See? So nice. So easy to ride around. I wonder how much this bike is. If this bike is too pricey, I'll put it on the screen. But by far, hell yeah. I think this is my new favorite cruiser now. The Fat Boy is a bike that you can just bwahaha while riding slow. This bike, on the other hand, it's a bike that you can live with. Alrighty. There you go. There you go. Neutral. Awesome. Closing. That's it. You just have to look down for the kickstand, and hopefully it doesn't lean too much. There you go. Look at that headlight over there. Very nice. This part I like. It doesn't have too much chrome, but the handlebar is too chromy for me. Very meaty everything. You can put saddlebags if you want to. It looks nice. I don't like the Demon Eyes on this. I'll change that to an LED strip or whatever. So there you go. The 2018 Harley-Davidson Sport Glide. 2 thumbs way up. See you guys later.